I'm just ballin', flossing, rolling through my neighborhood, ballin', flossing, rolling through my neighborhood, ballin', flossing, rolling through my neighborhood.
What's the other joint? What was the other joint we're looking at?
Okay, my will presidential, 10 presidential, money presidential, bitches presidential, everything black, so you know I'm presidential.
He gonna hook up in the front center, and he gonna pull at an angle that way.
Riding through the hood with my top down, she know I like it better when the top down. Niggas hating on me cause I'm hot now. No surprise, I know why I'm getting money, yeah. It's a lovely day, so I'ma ride the city. Cup full of something to slow down my senses. These designer shoes cost a nice penny. That's $750, we talk Pacifics. That Rolls Gold compliment.
Alright, check this out, YouTube. Y'all know what the increase in price of groceries, perishable, not anything, everything in the world going up, man. Everything, forget food. I've been on this point to kind of make this and build a garden for a minute, y'all. I think some of y'all know that, because I think I might have mentioned it in a couple of little videos. I'm not sure which ones, I don't know. But I'm trying to get back to my little country roots and stuff, you know, because I bought some property, you know, I'm building my house and stuff, building stuff around my house built. And I'm trying to really get back to a lot of things I grew up doing from my youth. And farming was one of those, you know, agriculture and working in the fields and stuff like that, you know. I said that like I was a slave or something, working in the fields. None of that, but you know, you get the point. Anyway, I want to build me a hydroponic system. So that's my next goal. I'm about to build a hydroponic system. I've been looking at YouTube videos and learning from different people and picking up stuff, reading articles and books. And I think I'm really ready to take this on, man. It looked pretty damn simple. It looked fun. It looked like I'm working with the foundations of building, like Legos and blocks and connects and stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and today I'm at Home Depot right now. I'm over here. And I'm about to go up in here and shop for some pieces. So I drew up a simple system with my hand just now, like literally sitting here in the truck, because I was about to just come here and just brainstorm and do it. But the worst thing you could do is not draw out your building materials. You want to know everything you need, because you're gonna always forget something. And sure enough, when I was writing and drawing it up, I was like, oh shoot, I forgot about those pieces. But the rest of the system I'm gonna get off Amazon. But let me show y'all what I got so far. So you see, this is basically the simple system. It's gonna be built on a rack. I got some wood at the house, so I don't got no materials for building a rack on here. This is literally just a PVC system. I have a bunch of holes in here, what's gonna seat your net cups. Net cups, I got them on my Amazon cart. This would be a bucket, or I got a barrel at the house. So I'm gonna cut open. This gonna really be the vessel where the water pours out and pumps back in. Your pump sitting submerged in there, the submersible pump. That's in my Amazon list. Let me kind of let you draw this out so y'all can see kind of what I'm gonna have going on. Then I'm gonna have to buy these. You know, I said 5 sticks because 1, 2, 3, 4. But you're gonna have to cut some little short like nipples to go on those little connection parts. I've seen a lot of people use, like, they'll put the end caps and they'll get little small pieces of PVC and pipe over in here and do all the extra little connections. I'm like, man, why do I even have to do that much work and labor when I can just cut some short nipples and just put some 90s on there? Like, it's a lot less work, man. You trying to cut all them micro cuts and stuff and pipe into the PVC. So it's too many more connections you have to do that. So just go ahead and 90 over, short nipple, 90 over, short nipple, 90 over, short nipple, and finish and be done with it, man, at the end of the day. So I'm gonna actually bring this around one more time and have a 6-stick system, of course, with the it'll be 7 with the piece you use to cut the short nipples, or really don't even need to be 7, because I don't have to have them fully 10 foot. They could be a little shorter, it don't really matter. But it'll be 6 sticks I end up buying. I got the socket basically that goes on the end right here. It'll be 2 of those. That's what I'll cut into the end of the end caps. I need 2 end caps, end cap. Everything else just 90s. And 10 90-inch elbows, which 2, 4, 6, and then I have 8, 10, and then I go out to the end cap. So it ended up being 6 total sticks. Well, with that system, that's plenty darn capacity. It ended up being like, I mean, by the time you add the 90s on there and a nipple over and you cut the piece, it's gonna still be about 10 foot in total length. And I'm really just gonna cut off about it'd be a couple inches. I really won't even lose nothing, so it'll be a full-fledged system. So anyway, let me get to going, answer this phone call, and stop buying these materials later. All right, I'm back at the house now. I went and got a bunch of, got something on the camera. We got a bunch of 90-degree elbows, holes, whatever that is. What is it? Hose barb. They got 2 hose barbs, 2 end caps. This is 10 foot segments of hose. Of course, this is a 3/4 inner. It's 3/4 inner diameter, not the outer diameter, because these hose barbs basically a 3/4 outer. What do you call this? PVC. Oh, that's a reducer. This is a 1 inch to 3/4 reducer. Of course, it's threaded in and out. Then this is what do they call this? Basically, this is 1 inch PVC inner diameter and a 3/4 inch outer diameter. So I can put that reducer in it. Oh no, more about one inch outer diameter. So I can put that reducer in it. And basically, what I'm gonna do with that is use that to bring. I'm gonna show y'all. I'm trying to hold the camera and explain everything. This is a hanger strap. That's the security pipes. And then this is a 1 inch PVC, which I'm gonna cut to make some small short nipples, close nipples with whatever. So what we got going on is I already had the PVC tubing at the house. So far, my total expenses so far is 130 bucks for everything in that box. I already had these, but in the store when I looked at the price today, because I wasn't sure how many I had at the house, I was hoping I had 6 at least, and I actually got 8 or 9. I can't remember, 8 or 9, which is great. So I done cut some costs already, because I'm actually going to use this later on for piping this under the edge of the concrete whenever I dig this out to do the courtyard. Well, the courtyard ain't happening right now, so I'm gonna do my garden in this little corner right now for the meantime, and I'll move this hydroponics rack later. Anyway, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at $21 and some change. It was like $21.99 or $21.78. I don't know. So let's say $22 a stick. So you get 20, 40, 60, 80, 120, 140, probably like 160 with tax. So 160 and 130 gives you 290, and that's really what the total cost to be so far at this. By the time I add some more stuff off Amazon, like the net cups, I got the pump, I already had a barrel. If you look on it way into the forward property over there, I got some blue barrels I'm gonna use over there for my circulation tanks, my reservoir, whatever you want to call it. That's gonna be in my reservoir. So you need a barrel or a tote, some totes or whatever. This system right here, based on what I've seen with a guy doing off of, I think he had two sticks of PVC hitting a circle, and he said he was 30 gallons he needed, which was like a third, a half of a barrel he was at. So, but I don't, the way he was calculating the water on that video, it's kind of not irrelevant, because basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fill all of these up, and then I'm gonna fill up the barrel, which is the reservoir, with about 2/3 full as well, and then I have a solution circulating in that with the circulation pump, the fountain pump. So 290 I don't know the total expenses till I buy everything off Amazon. It might be another 100 bucks, 100-something bucks with the nutrients and everything. But now, oh yeah, and one more thing too, you need the materials to build a rack, which is also what I had here. There's several ways to build it. I want a more permanent solution. I know people was using that 1-inch PVC. It looks like it was very brittle, and it was for like a smaller setups, because that 3/4 inch PVC would be very easily broken if you was to move a rack that's holding almost 100 gallons of water. So what I'm going to use to set up that I've seen a couple people use trying to build a whole frame and rack out of PVC. I'm actually going to use wood. So I'm gonna build like a little wood frame rack just to elevate it off ground, probably about 3 or 4 feet. I got some components and stuff already, some scrap wood actually right here. I'm gonna use these to kind of get me going, because these are actually left over from a shelf. So I'm gonna see the width it's gonna take with 1, 2, 3. I got 4 turns. 1, 2, 3 turns. No, 6 pieces. 1, 2. I don't know. I can't. I'm trying to look without looking at the diagram. But basically, the width of this is going to be about here. Show y'all. It's going to take a turn. I'll take another turn. Another turn. And so I mean, it's gonna be pretty darn big as fucking, excuse my language, man. It's gonna be a big hydroponic set. So it's gonna go up, down, up, down, up, down. So yeah, this is 6 pieces, and that's gonna be about the width of it. So I need to have a rack with some horizontal braces holding it, probably at about 3 different points. I'm gonna saw the ends off. All of the ends got to come off. These are the expanded ends or whatever. I'll have to cut off, probably end up cutting off like 1 foot off of each one, bringing each piece down to 9 feet. That way, all for the 1 foot, I'll cut some short nipples, another 6 inches, and make some short nipples for my my turns, and everything will be even. And I'll measure everything out, all my turns and everything, and then I'll come back and I'll put the holes in. I don't know how many holes I'm gonna get roughly at. I know some people are doing 5-inch spacing, 6-inch spacing, 8-inch spacing. I think on like, I'm gonna do like half and half. I think I'm gonna do like some 4-inch spaces maybe, and then some 6s, because some plants take up more than others. I don't want all 6s and less capacity to garden, and I don't want all 4s and no capacity of plants. So I'm gonna kind of swap it up and be able to grow, so you'll be able to grow different types of plants or whatever or whatnot, and it'll make a little more sense whenever you're choosing what you want to grow, where you want to grow. You have some options. So I try to be practical and sensible in everything I do, so can make a little more sense out of it. All right, enough talking for right now. Let me get to it. All right, I was gonna use the circular, not the circular, miter saw, but tell you one thing about it, that blade ain't big enough. So I went and got the fastest cutting saw you know in the world. God dang, the saw's out. So I need to make 2 cuts on every piece of pipe. I need to go ahead and cut off the part where it bows out for you to put another piece of pipe on, and then I'm gonna cut 4 inches down from that on my actual line. So So I'm gonna eyeball this first cut because I'm only making a couple nipples doing this. So I need to get a piece of wood, another piece of wood. How about this? That's what we're gonna do. I don't like this because I just sprung a cut. I'm gonna get a different blade. This blade is too jagged. I got me a metal blade now, bi-metal blade, so it won't be so aggressive. The ridges are a lot smaller on here, so spare me some damage. Cause I already got a crack right here. I'm gonna have to repair that. Put a little silicone on the inside and outside. Well, let's do this again. Yes, a lot better. Yeah, that's a lot better, hell of a lot better. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go ahead and measure these lines. Get these nipples a little more accurate. Big difference. When cutting the PVC with the Sawzall, whatever tool you use, if you use a Sawzall, make sure you use a bi-metal blade. Smaller ridges, that red blade, that multi-cut blade will tear them up with those big ridges. Now I gotta worry about repairing a piece of my system already. So anyway, let's continue on. Alright, so now I'm about to build a rack. Let's have to kind of come up with a quick idea of how I'm gonna do it in my head. So basically, let me just give y'all a quick general concept. Of course, I'm starting the cuts right now, and I'm using the materials that I already have, which are 2x4s. I got 2x4s and 2x3s. So I'm gonna use these 2x4s, and it's gonna be 4 of them like this in a row. Of course, they're gonna be spread further apart than this, They're gonna be further separated in this, but I'm gonna put one of those 2x3s on the end, and the other one of the 2x3s on the end, and I'm gonna keep the 2x4s for the spans because they're gonna hold majority of the weight. And the 2x4s, which will be they will be going perpendicular to these pipes, so they're gonna be holding and supporting all that water weight. And once I put the ends on and make this into like a grid square, I'm gonna have to prop it up and put some footings on the bottom of that little grid, which I'm gonna lay all this on. And I'm trying to see how I'm gonna do that because I don't have no treated wood, but I might just make some wood legs for the meantime and come back and put something on the ground under each leg so it wouldn't be directly on the ground, try to help suppress the water, the moisture being absorbed into the wood. But we're moving right along. All my nipples cut out, pipes ready to go, wood cuts about to be. I'm about to throw this together so freaking fast, man. Let me get at it. So being that I have 4 pieces of wood, of course the ends are going to have pieces of wood on them, so the interior pieces are going to be marked at 2 foot and 4 foot. So 2 foot centered and 4 foot centered. That's going to be my internal spacing for all the pieces of wood that I put on. Drill. Of course, doesn't line up because I'm not using a 2x4 in this end. I'm using 2x3, so whatever. I advise you to get the same type of wood. Line it up and screw it in. Already got holes in there from the last time I used it. It doesn't want to sit on straight. Look at this. There we go. All right. 2 foot centered. This stuff don't take long at all, I'm telling you. Once you get going, don't waste no time to play around. Just get straight to it. Lay this junk out. All right, I get the last piece on.
Not yet. Stop, follow me. Ah, follow me. Follow me. Come on. Huh? Come on, Olivia.
crooked wood. I'll come back, I'll straighten that one out. Shoot, that one crooked too. I'm gonna straighten that one out too. All of them have flexed a little bit. Got an idea for that. You know, all these pieces been sitting up in my shop, and they've been, some of them been exposed to a little bit of moisture. So I'm gonna go ahead and straighten them out. You know, right where I want. We got the top rack done. Now I gotta build a bottom shelf, the bottom, the legs for it, basically to hold it up. So let me look at my scraps and see what I got. Usually I have a plan, but materials are high as hell right now, so I'm not about to go out and just buy some more wood for just my plan when I got wood that I'm sitting on, that's sitting around that I've been trying to use for the last year or so. I'm gonna use these somehow for the base. Now, if I had it on concrete, I'd really just screw these frames to the bottom, call it a day. But since it's gonna be on wood, I need a base to go up under it, like some legs, something I can just separate from the water, because there's too much ground contact. So let me see what I got. All right, to save myself time, I'm gonna go ahead and do exactly what I said I wasn't gonna do. I'm just gonna take that square frame I had left over and screw it right to the bottom of all of this wood right here on each end. Now what I'm gonna do to mitigate the ground contact is I got some scrap wood, and I also got some leftover tin. I'm gonna sit this on top of, so it won't be sitting directly in the water. That way we'll get some duration out of this until I can put some metal on the bottom or something, or some feet on it to get it up higher off the ground. But in the meantime, we up. To the next side. What that was? Happy Jack? I figured that was him. You say, who was that? Miss who? Oh. Oh, okay. Centered roughly. All right. Rack seated. Now we can start the build of the PVC. Let's get it. I'm basically gonna put these to stabilize it, but since I cut the triangles off on the ends, I'm gonna use these as lower braces. Add strength to the frame. That stuck to the wood. Oh well. This one. I need to put some shorter screws. I'm gonna keep that one in there. That way his wood will be attached. Put my little corner brace in. Yep. All right. Oh, now I need the longer screw. My other screws. This side is stabilized. There we go. Stability. All right. Now we got some horizontal rigidness going on, so only want to shake back and forward a little bit. Of course, I could put a brace up to stop that because it's not going horizontally no more. No vertical rigidness though. I got like very little vertical rigidness, and that's only because I put the screws right here instead of directly in line with this. So probably add a piece later, but I'm about to get this PVC part going. Comes to getting all these little burrs off the edge of your PVC. Several ways to do it. One, put gloves on, because this will cut your hand wide open. I just use some little Scotch-Brite. I just rub it a little bit. You get a file. I mean, it's pretty effective right here. I like doing this. Had little tricks and little hacks of doing it different ways. If you ain't got no materials around you, you just somewhere and nothing around you, you can do it like this. Use the outside of another piece and then go to inside. That's a good way to get it off too.
just as effective, if not more effective. But like I say, this stuff dangerous, so you don't really want to be twirling no end of this piece in your hand without no gloves on. So yeah, just get all this little stuff off. And get those nipples a little more exact for the ones I'm actually using. I think these 4 are gonna be good. Nah, same thing to them over there. Little crack, the one that I cracked the PVC on when I was cutting. I'm just gonna put a little bit of PVC glue on the inside and the outside of that, and when I mount that piece on the end, it's gonna be a wrap. It ain't gonna move no more. So I'm gonna go ahead and start putting a lot of my 90s on there just to try to stabilize, use some of my parts up, but I'm not gonna close the whole system off till I drill all the holes in, because I gotta drill the holes in the top straight down each piece of tube. And a lot of stuff gonna fall inside. I don't want to be trying to snake it all out. That's nearly impossible once I put everything together. So. Let me show you how I'm gonna fix this one right here. See the little crack that happened right there? I'm literally gonna put PVC glue on the inside, outside, probably like 2 layers of it, and then when I put that 90 on it, that 90 gonna keep everything together, and I guarantee it ain't gonna leak because ain't no pressure going through it, so it'll be a-okay. This glue a little older. Just thicking it up a little bit. With this the glue, I'm gonna use to seal that end off with. So 2 other end 2 other end. Okay. So 2 more. 2 on the front end. 2, 2, 2. Triple. So I'll be here. Alright, I'll put that one on, put the other end on, and then I'll be able to line this up. Now I'm not gluing these pieces in, I'm just going to use these to kind of get everything in place so I can put my 90s in place. All my 90s I'm going to glue on though. I'm not going to glue my couplings, my nipples on. So. One last nipple. All right. Now I'm gonna come back around, put my end cap with my valve going out, end cap with valve going out, and I'm gonna put all my holes in the top. Like I said, these couplings or nipples are not glued yet, so when I cut all the holes while it's stationary like this, I'm gonna disconnect it, clean all the tubes out, clean all the plastic out the tubes, literally, and drop my holes in, do my end caps, get my reservoir set up, and literally I'm gonna be able to start cycling water through here and then planting my plants. Just that simple. You see it, man. Hydroponics set coming on together. Shoot, I don't know, I ain't been out here with but an hour 45 minutes and hour 45 minutes and I got all this built, rack built, everything built, literally. A couple more things left. Like I said, the pump ain't gonna be here till I order it tonight on Amazon, along with several other things, the nutrients and all those things. But I mean, as far as the system being set up, here we go. Like I said, this stuff is not hard, man. You just gotta get up off your ass and just have a vision, man. All right, now I got my end caps ready. I just gotta drill a hole in the end. Get my hole saw. Gotta put a 1-inch hole in the back of these, and of course the hole has to be toward the upper side because I don't want it centered on the back. I actually had a guy in one of the plumbing stores I went to trying to sell me a piece that basically made it automatically center the back of the PVC. Like the hole had a screw in right here in the dead center, which I didn't want that because that's where your water level gonna be if you have your hole centered here. I want my water level be toward the top or the end of the pipe, so when I stand it up, my water level be about 80% covered in there, and the rest of that be air. I don't want it a halfway level. I want it a little higher. That way my plants can reach the water earlier in the younger part of their lifespan. So we gotta get a hole centered, tapped, and cut. Gotta figure out what size I need. Just the hole size. That's an 1.5 inch hole right there. Come down a little bit. I need 1 1/4 probably, something like this. 1 3/8. That's about it. I'll take that all day. That's what we need right there. 1 3/8. So we're gonna tap 1 3/8 in. We're gonna eyeball it. It don't have to be precisely, exactly, ergonomically, scientifically. Look, we're gonna just make this shit work, man. Look. Like I said, we're doing hydroponics, not nuclear physics, man. I don't get to use this thing much. I bought it for a reason. Today, we're gonna put it to work. I'm just gonna hold it with my hand with a glove. I'm gonna use a marking on here. I was gonna just draw a line, like give you an example of an idea. I'm gonna use the markings on here to give me a center line, because they mark directly in the center. And from that center line, it's a little better than eyeballing. A lot better than eyeballing. From that center line, we'll pick a number. Of course, something that you can see we can center it without causing any issues. We'll get that thing right there above the center mark. Probably right under right under that D. I'm gonna use that as my offset mark right there. So we'll start under that letter D. Just want the top of it at. You don't have to be exact, and I just make sure my bore hole goes right up under that. One problem. This is the one with my broken bit. Let's get that one out of here. Let's change this one out. Get something else. One more thing. That's what we gonna do right there. We gonna put clamps on. My whole hit. That's what I'm talking about. I never feel too safe holding that, man. I swear, I just didn't feel safe. I'm telling you right now, this thing's so powerful. Whatever this do as far as damage, it's gonna keep going. It don't care what happens. So if that thing would have caught a groove and snapped because it was rotating this way and slid this way, it'll snap my thumb off and keep going. I'm telling you right now, if my thumb would be broken here, I ain't about to give y'all nothing graphic to watch, man. Dang it, my freaking stand dropped too low. I'm gonna reposition. There we go. There we go. Perfecto. Now we're gonna do the other one. Same thing. Line it up. There we go. Good with it. About it. And on this one I purposely dropped it slightly, that way in case I like the level of this one better, I can swap it from the inlet side, because the inlet side gonna be sealed as well. The outlet side is what's gonna determine how slow it drains, how fast it drains. So I want this outlet side to be a little slightly lower, even though I meant to make it a little lower than that, but it's fine. We good now. Get this off. Let's get back on the other end. I'm gonna get these ends put in the caps. I don't know what part number this is. It's ever built. I don't know if y'all can see that. We're gonna get this screwed on this side. Same thing, tighten this side up. Now that's gonna rubber gonna seal the inside of that. These are my inlets and outlets right here for the ends. I'm gonna I'm not gonna put glue these end caps on, because I'm gonna have material I'm gonna have to get out. You know what? I'm actually gonna glue these on because the other end is open. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this stationary too. Get this junk glued up just like the other side. All right, so I cut two 2-inch nipples off of that 1-inch stick I had. I'm gonna stick them in here, and we got the reducer, 1-inch to 3/4 reducer. That's gonna look, my bad. This is an adapter. Don't know exactly what this part number is, but it's a 1-inch to 1-inch that PVC to 1-inch like threaded adapter. Then you got your reducer, which brings it from 1-inch to 3/4 inch down. And then you got the barb that goes the 3/4 to 3/4 inner to, I think it's 1/2 inch. I don't know. I gotta get the bag, but it's basically your barb, and then your hose pipe. Your hose will go on this and go into your solution. So we're gonna put this on both ends of these. Same setup. Here, 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 and what is it? It is an elbow hose barb, 3/4 inner diameter to 3/4 inch MIP, elbow hose barb. And that's what that is. And this is gonna go on this end. Have to figure out what they had to kind of make my setup. I mean, you can do this part a lot simpler, but based on what they had at Home Depot, I was very limited and have to see what they had to kind of build this system. Then you come back on the other end, put your hose around here, hose on this side, hose on this side, bring it over to your solution, and hook it up to your pump assembly, circulate your nutrients. Literally, that's it. All I gotta do now is drill the holes, measure and drill the holes all the way on the top end. And once the holes are drilled, put my net cups inside, flush the inside of it out, make sure I got all the stuff, materials out. With everything flushed out, literally neutralize the water, test the chemicals, and then start planting. I mean, it's really not that hard, man. I did all of this, and it's been a matter of hours, man. Last night I was up, I watched a couple videos last night, and I watched a couple this morning. Literally just went to Home Depot, started buying stuff. Like literally, this is half the system. I can double this later on. I come back around, put another piece of PV, cut this off, and double the size, double this rack, and keep the same pump assembly running. The only thing I would do different is if you running a larger rack with these nutrients going through it. Of course, your nutrients deplete by the time they get to the end, but the way you could compensate for that is getting a faster pump. That way you can pump more nutrients in faster, so it's not using the nutrients up in the water just as fast. So you pump more through the system faster like that, and that way it'll compensate for a slower pumping at a slower rate going through the system when you got a large system. So you don't have to buy a second pump and have a second shelf and all that's not worth it. Just wasting. You're trying to do this in an efficient way, saving a certain amount of money, most amount of money you can. So this the best way to do it, man. The best way I found to do it. No one's the best way, but there's smarter ways, and I think I got it. All right, so me and Aiden just popped the chalk line over here to get everything centered. Now we got a chalk line, and we're gonna start doing our spacing for our cups. We're gonna space them out but anywhere between 4 to 6 inches. I'm gonna find out right now. I'm about to figure that out. But now we got our center line on the top of all of our pieces, just like we want. All right, the last little piece I didn't get recorded was basically, of course, we string lined it and got the top center line. But after that, I got my tape measure, and I had my son and my girl holding the ends of it, and I literally went down about 5. And I said, I mean, I got a pretty big system. I'm not really lacking for space, so I just put my lines on 5 inches. Give it a decent amount of space. So I'm 5 inches spaced on all my lines, a bunch of 5-inch spacing, which gives me what I ended at 100. So I basically got 20 lines on each tube. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120. That's 120 plants literally in this system. That's enormous. That's enormous. Yeah, I had 100 line spacing. I ended up having, considering I cut my PVC at 9 inches. Get back a little, Walls. I cut my I said 9 inches. I cut my PVC at 9 foot. Well, I cut 10 inches off, so really 9 foot, couple inches. I mean, I said, yeah, I think they 10-foot sticks. I can't remember, 8 foot, 10. I don't know what my sticks are. Basically, I cut 10 inches off the stick. I think it's all 8-foot sticks. And then put 5-inch lines in there. And starting with my first line at this being at the 2-inch mark from the end of the PVC. I started my first line at 2 inches and literally went from every line all the way to the end. My last line was, I mean, I had a bigger gap at the end, so I put my last line at the 102.5 mark. So my last line really has smaller slots toward the end, but I mean, we got a pretty big capacity, over 120, roughly 120 net cups will be going down in here and filling this up, man. So let me start doing these holes now. Give me something to pop these out. Alright, hole's gonna go in just like this. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and keep going. I gotta keep cleaning this thing out because these PVC cutouts are getting stuck in here. Let me roll through this for y'all.
For nothing just now. And the camera was on. I know. And they could hear you probably from there. I know. Dad.
Yeah.
Olivia saw V and there was something on her. And she started saying, get it off me, get it off me. And she started crying, saying, get it off me, get it off me, get it off me, I'm serious, get it off me.
I heard. Look, y'all know y'all missing the quality of my video with them. Y'all, this is why I don't be watching. Y'all be loud as hell. I be trying to make videos and y'all be
bursting out loud noise.
Huh?
Bursting out loud noise.
Yeah, like right now, I'm trying to make a video. Now what y'all can do, help me clean up some of these white pieces, tops at the end, and a little bit when I finish.
You want to get on the swing? That's the swing. There's spider webs on there. Are you scared?
Okay, so what I'm doing now, all the holes drilled out, and I mean that was the most time-consuming thing, drilling out the holes, and now what I'm doing, cleaning out the holes. You see these got a lot of all the debris and ruffles on the edge, and over here the holes are a lot cleaner. Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm getting rid of all them frays because I don't want to. It makes the cups seat better whenever I put them on there. So I'm gonna get back to doing this. I mean, so far I'm about this is about 4 hours. I'm going on my fourth. Started at 2:30. Yeah, not quite 4. 3.5 hours into this so far. So let me go ahead and carry on. Okay, I got it. All the holes clean for the most part. Now I'm gonna go ahead and seal up these nipples and get these things put on, and then secure the system. Man, we really done, man. That's really it for the most part. Outside of that, I'm gonna come back with the next video, and we're gonna hook up the pump to the reservoir, and I'm gonna read up some more on what chemicals I'm gonna use. I got a couple things in my cart on Amazon. I'm gonna see what the best chemicals is. And I'm gonna buy all the stuff to neutralize, to keep it neutral and the acidity and base level balanced. And then I'll break it all down whenever I get everything going and we get the system purged, cleaned out from the rest of the debris, and all that's gonna be on the next video. But again, man, thank y'all for watching, man. If y'all like this kind of stuff, bro, come on, man. Put the notifications on. I know I do everything on my channel, literally projects. It could be about any project. But man, subscribe to the channel, man. Y'all pick out, eat the meat, spit the bones out. If y'all not in the cars, y'all like projects, deal with the project side. If y'all like the cars, deal with the car side. If y'all like entertainment, travels, trips, vacations, I mean, whatever, man. You know, it's just a life and projects, man. And I'm gonna actually come out with a merch line soon. Well, not that soon, but it's coming. Project, and it's gonna be literally just project and project life. It's gonna be like project life. You know what I'm saying? So y'all gonna see the logo when I push it out. It's gonna look real clean and crisp. Nothing too crazy with the graphics, but perfect. Y'all gonna see it on here. Stay tuned. Subscribe, man. Stop wasting my time, man. Your turn. Later.
Click that button. Don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. Just click it. Click it right now. Yeah.